forecast for February 5th through the 9th. Things are looking quiet this week, but sunny. We have not had a lot of sun. We've been very gray for a big portion of December and January. But we're going to get a little bit of a stretch of sun. We had sun yesterday. We're going to have sun today. We're going to have sun tomorrow. Wednesday, we're going to have a decent amount of sun. Even Thursday, a decent amount of sun. Friday, we finally get back into some cloudy weather. But no real precipitation. Some sprinkles on Friday. It's a pretty quiet week. What's going on across the country? All right, we have a kind of low pressure system pretty cut off here across the southeast. This is going to meander out to sea, eventually kind of come north, but well east of us, way east of us, not even going to give us any clouds. You'll notice here to our north and west of that, very basically clear skies across a big portion of the eastern half of the country. And then, of course, we have this storm that has come on shore across California, bringing some pretty heavy rain to southern California, a lot of flood warnings and things like that there. And this system eventually will kind of meander across the country and give us a chance of some sprinkles, but by then it will have changed and morphed quite significantly. I'm going to talk in a second about what's happened with our weather and why we've gone so quiet here in February, and why really we look there's no setup currently for big storms or anything like that for the foreseeable future. It looks pretty quiet for at least the first half of February, basically the next couple of weeks, which is a long ways out. Not to say we couldn't get any storms, but nothing that looks overly dynamic or dramatic for us here across the eastern half of the country. So I think you can kind of lock in a relatively tranquil period of weather. Here's radar. Here's you can see the storm swirling across the southeastern United States, bringing some rain to Florida and Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, places like that. South Carolina as well. But here across the northeast, big area of high pressure has been clear out there. We've been relatively cold the last couple of nights with temperatures down near 10. That's because we've had clear skies. First time we've had radiational cooling in quite some time. We've had a lot of overnight lows that haven't been that cold because had just held the clouds overnight. But last couple of nights, our temperatures have gone down pretty significantly. But we're going to warm up to a pretty seasonable temperatures today, upper 20s, low 30s in some of the valley locations, mid 20s if you're skiing. So not bad at all. Here's your system coming on shore. Here's that heavy rain across southern California that's leading to some definite problems there. Also Northern California, although they're a little more used to the heavy rain in Northern California. It's pretty relatively unusual to be getting some of the heavy rain where they are in the LA basin. So definitely a problem for them, but not for the rest of us. High elevations, that's the only place really right now piling up the snow. The Rockies are getting some snow, the Northern Rockies as well. So yeah, in terms of what's going on, our subtropical jet stream has really kind of taken over completely here. You can see there's just not a lot of jet stream. So this is showing us where, this map, in case you're wondering what this is basically at the jet stream level, 250 millibars. And the colors show where there's the brighter the colors or the warmer the colors there, the higher the wind speeds. Basically showing us where we've got fast moving air. So you can see we've got this jet stream all the way across the Pacific. This is why I've been kind of like the Pineapple Express here in terms of you see that jet stream just aiming the fire hose right there at Southern California. But you can see in the northern part of more northern latitudes, no real activity in the northern stream, but we have little pieces of it here. This is kind of split flow. And what this does not allow for is big full latitude storms. And it tends to keep all the action in the southern 2/3 of the country for the most part. And so that's sort of going to be the theme going forward for a little bit. It's not going to continue just with this, but the southern jet has really taken over in terms of prominence, and that is going to tend to keep our weather a little bit more quiet. It does mean that there's lots of moisture across the southeast. So if you find a storm, if you get a wrinkle where the northern part of the jet stream can come down, kind of get a little bit more active, dip down and grab some of that moisture, it does still set the stage for that potential for us, but nothing that looks like that will happen in the next couple of weeks really in any significant form. Not to say we won't get any precipitation for the next 2 weeks, but just definitely nothing that looks overly significant. But there is still a lot of moisture around. That's been true all winter. We've definitely tapped it a bunch of times earlier in the winter, so it's definitely possible. And then, of course, what we get when that happens is we get rain, we get snow. This winter, it's been a little of both, or rain mostly. But anyway, in the colder temperatures, we are building still some cold, kind of wider spread cold across the northern or across the. We're going to go to 500 millibars first. So this just kind of shows you where that warmer air aloft is. And so finally, we had all that warmth and a big ridge across the Rockies all last week. That's kind of started to finally move east. And so even though our air is coming from the northwest today, at the mid levels, which is where you'd normally expect us to be kind of chilly. That air is pretty mild, and because it's essentially Pacific air that got moved by pushed by all of this onshore flow north of us, and then it's going to come in our direction. Usually when we get air from Canada, it's very cold this time of year. Right now, this will be, for the next couple of days, kind of cool. And then as this flattens out and we get more kind of air from the upper Midwest, we'll kind of start to warm up. Eventually, we're going to even get into some southwest flow here as we head towards the weekend. And temperatures will get quite a bit above average by the end of the week. Let's take a look at temperatures. And you can see we still have these warm temperatures across the central part of the continent. Across the north, we are starting to kind of build more widespread cold. We've had some very cold temperatures in Alaska that have been kind of sitting there for a couple of weeks. They have kind of spread east in some regards. And as they have done that, as they've spread out, some of the depth of that cold has gone away. And this is not overly cold, but we are starting to build some cold in Canada again, which again gives us the opportunity for a shot of cold air. We haven't had any particularly cold air for the most part all winter, really. But we have a chance of that eventually. But again, nothing that looks like it's going to tap that anytime soon. Actually, what we're going to tap now is these relatively mild temperatures across the central part of the United States, southwest and southeastern United States. Let's take a look at what that looks like on the actual forecast. So next couple of days, really no clouds to speak of. Very nice temp weather. Starting off a little chilly both today and tomorrow, as we will be with that clear skies. We really do kind of cool off. But temperatures will rise relatively quickly in the morning up into the 20s. Most areas will probably see 30 on Tuesday, some upper 20s for the higher elevations. Wednesday is kind of the transition towards warmer day. We start to get a few clouds in here and that southwest flow. Temperatures start off still kind of chilly, but we rise up into the mid 30s. Thursday, after starting in the teens, we get up into the low 40s. And then Friday, finally, a front approaches with a few sprinkles. Nothing to be too excited about. And this is more than just a passing sprinkle, though. Most areas will probably see some light showers out of this. But temperatures in the mid 40s after we start off kind of chilly on Friday morning once again. So yeah, and then the weekend looks like it'll probably be warm as well. So yeah, I'll turn towards a little bit of a February thaw here towards the end of the week. That's kind of what we're looking at. If you want to take a look at those highlights, a very quiet weather week. Temperatures warm through the week. Monday and Tuesday are seasonably cool. Thursday and Friday, most areas will see temperatures above 40. Friday, late afternoon brings the next chance of precipitation with a few showers. I think most of us will see them. They don't look overly significant. They shouldn't ruin any of the skiing or anything. It should be kind of spring skiing conditions for the weekend, though, as it looks now, with temperatures kind of right around freezing at a little bit above freezing for most of us. So anyways, so that's what we're looking at as we head forward. I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons who help support what I do here at the West River Weather Guy. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel before, I would encourage you to do so. It helps make sure you don't miss any of my videos. And if you are interested in becoming a patron, you can check out the link in the description below. It talks about how you can do that and how you can support the channel that way. And finally, I will be back on Friday with a